the Matador. Amir Mansour comes forward. There's nothing cute about it. Steve Cunningham is the Matador. There's no question that this is a good mesh of styles. The second criteria was, does the fight lead anywhere? Obviously it does. This is USBA heavyweight title defense. Both men are world ranked. The winner of this fight figures to get a six-figure payday next time out. The third reason Teddy said was, would I buy a ticket to see this fight? I certainly would buy a ticket to see this fight. But there's a fourth reason that this fight is so intriguing. And this is a big subject with me. Both guys are from the neighborhood. Those are the fights that made Philly the great fight town it's always been. You go back to Ali Tour and Leroy Haynes in the 30s, Bob Montgomery and Wesley Mozon in the 40s, Charlie Scott and Sugar Hart in the 50s, Joey Giardello and George Benton in the 60s, Benny Briscoe and Cyclone Hart in the 70s, Jeff Chandler and Johnny Carter in the 80s, Anthony Boyle and Frankie Mitchell in the 90s, and as recently as a couple of years ago, Gabriel Rosado and Derek Emerson. I could go on and list you hundreds of others that took place over the decades. These are the fights that made Philly the fight town it is, and this is what we have in this fight, and this is why people are going to come out and see that, because nobody knows, nobody's willing to bet the bank other than the two fighters as to who's going to win this fight. It's a toss-up fight, it's a competitive fight, it's a fight between two veterans, two contenders, two guys each believe that they're going to win. There's no opponent in this fight. This fight's going to be televised live over the NBC Sports Network. For that reason, it's at the Liacouras Center at Temple University, maybe the fourth or fifth fight that they've ever had there. I figure it's going to be the most successful because it's the first time at the Liacouras Center that there's really been a 50-50 fight in the main event. There's no appearance fight here. I'd like to introduce my partner. I'm her partner, Kathy Duke of Main Events, to say a few words.
This fight is going to be shown on the NBC Sports Network on our Fight Night series. We are heading into our third year, and thanks to the genius matchmaking of Russell Peltz and Jolene Wiseau, this has turned into quite a hot thing. We had a terrific heavyweight fight the other night between Tomasz Demick and Czar Blasco, and we're going to have another terrific heavyweight fight here on April 4th. The heavyweight division is starting to get really, really interesting. The retirement of Vitaly Klitschko, and we think Vladimir, who knows, everybody coming at him. I don't think it's going to be so easy for Vladimir to dominate. He has to put over there to kind of get rid of the guys he's not comfortable with. I think that in the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see a complete change in that division. And there's gentlemen here who want to be part of this change. And the matchups that exist in this division are at this point are starting to show, are starting to emerge, and there's just so many good fights that can be made. This is one of them. So for those who are not lucky enough to be able to come here and experience this in person, NBC Sports Network at 9 o'clock on Friday night fight on the 4th of April in Mesa.
Before I get to the main event, I would just want to acknowledge local junior welterweight prospect who's in the 6th round fight on the card. Just say hello to Hassan Young from North Philadelphia. Okay. There's before I get to Steve and Amir, the 10-round co-feature involves one of the hottest middleweights in the world, Curtis Stevens of Brooklyn, New York, coming off a 1-round knockout of Patrick Majewski. Before that, a game effort against Gennady Golovkin for the world title. He's going against undefeated 14-0 Toriano Johnson in the 10-round co-feature. There'll be 6 or 7 other preliminary fights on the card, but Johnson, I've seen Johnson fight, and I'm sure you've all seen Stevens. It's going to be an explosive fight for as long as it goes either way. I'm going to introduce the challenger first. Steve USS Cunningham, former world cruiserweight champ. He's fought all over the world, all over the country. Not that much in his hometown of Philadelphia, but that's going to change now April 4th, and his trainer Nazim Richardson.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to thank everybody coming out here, especially in this climate weather, and Mr. Johan for putting this up. And like I said, I'd like to thank the team, Mansour and them, being a part of this product. I know Mansour. I've been impressed with him for quite a while as I've watched him. And I said something to Russell a while back when he came to me, and he said something about Mansour and Cunningham. And I asked Russell, I said, Russell, you know, you a promoter or you an instigator? You know, because like you said, the history of Philly fighting Philly, you know, and like I tell you, when you hear things like Russell Peltz is a small promoter, don't be fooled, it's by design. Russell one of the best that ever did it. Russell's where he want to be because he want to be there. You know what I mean? But he one of the best that ever did it. And you have to look at things, and I even look at this matchup. I wasn't really big on the Philly versus Philly guy because I always looked at beyond that. I looked at the guys who I saw ascend from Philadelphia and become outstanding athletes and world champions, and like the Bernard Hopkins and Danny Garcia. I never saw them in Philly matchups, you know. And so that's why I didn't have it. When I looked at this fight, the same things he just said. I said it's perfect in styles. It's a great matchup. I don't underestimate Mansour's team at all. As in Philly, you start hearing the circulation, you know, there's negative things said about this team and negative things said about that team. And I know his team, and I can tell you for certain there won't anything negative come out of my mouth. I realize that this is the biggest fight of his life. I realize for his team, it's the biggest fight. I'm very comfortable with my team. They've all functioned at world championship level, in world championship circumstances. From me to my cut man, even my youngest son, Bear, his first corner he ever worked was for a world title. So I know they're very familiar with this kind of atmosphere. So it allows me to walk in and realize one thing about Philly, great things about Philly, one negative thing, Philly has a tendency to need to stand on another guy so they can be seen. I need to say something bad about you so you can see how good I am. I have no need for that, especially in this circumstance. I know these people, I have no need for that. All I need to do is prepare my athlete, and I know they're going to prepare theirs, and then they just have to box. Like I said, we have some of the best promoters involved with this. We have two of the best young fighters, two of the best fighters out of Philadelphia involved in this. We have young fighters on the card, such as Khalid, Bigfoot, Whitmore. Another young kid just fought Saturday. It's called Dynamite Dargan. You know, like you start talking about raising fighters up, they say that I teach Dynamite out of boxing. I told Dynamite how to spell the word. So my thing is, it's going to be an outstanding card. It's going to be an outstanding card. Somebody will have to win, somebody will have to lose, but I know they're going to put on their best performance. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your patience, and I look forward to seeing this matchup on the floor. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. You know, most of you know me. Most of you know, most of you have seen my heart in the ring. Most of you, you know, they say I'm a gentleman, I'm a family man, I'm this and that. I'm a soldier in the army of Christ. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. This fight, I mean, I've stayed out of the media, you know, this fight a lot because, you know, I have much respect for Mansour. He helped me get ready for a fight in 2010. You know, we got to know each other a bit. Good dude. I understand his struggles, you know, with the jail thing and everything. Trying to do right, stay out of, you know, the system. He's doing a great thing for himself. We didn't choose this fight to be be specific for you guys. We didn't say, hey, we want Mansour. This is part of what happens in boxing. He's got a belt. He's got, that's position. I'm trying to get in position. He's trying to get in position. I got a family. He's got a family. So this is what happens in boxing. Dudes fight. We got to fight. I was forced, well, not forced, I was faced with possibly fighting a close friend of mine years ago, Chris Bird. Man, he's like my brother. They helped name my daughter, but we were going to fight, because it's about business, it's our career, this is what we do. Like I said, I stayed out of the media because I'm taking this very serious. There's issues, or people have been saying there's been issues about my weight and this and that, and I'm too small. And I'm one of those guys from day one. I'm ready. I love proving people wrong. I love showing. That motivates me. Something I can't imagine. What I can't do. Tell me what I can't do, what I'm not supposed to do. I'm gonna do it. So there's a couple other things I have to say. This has been a tough journey for me and my family. I'm not gonna go into details, but we've got hit with some heartbreaking news. But training camp continues. The job must get done. I must perform in the ring. I don't lay down for anybody. I won't lay down for anybody. Mansour knows it's going to be a fight for me, and I know it's going to be a fight for him. It's time to fight. That's all I have to say. With respect to you.
Okay, I just want to say that if Hopkins and Garcia had been around in the 70s, they would have had to fight Philly versus Philly, because in those days, Philly was the world. And if we had more matchups like that, maybe Philly would become the world again. Before I introduce Amir Mansour, I'd like to tell you a little story about the people who are with him. Johan Promotions, I've known them since 1969, when I first started in the business. They were very big in the closed circuit business in those days, and I've worked some of the big shows for them, different locales. They'd have like 50 or 60 locales in the area. They sent me to such exotic places as the Camden Convention Hall and the arena in West Philly. I was there the night the cameras went out before the Duran-Leonard fight, and we hid under a table in an office with the lights out while the fans outside were trying to take the building apart brick by brick. I survived that night, and it's still and I still do business with Johan. But while we were hiding under the desk that night, and the Channel 6 was outside, and we wouldn't open the doors because we were rushing in a closed circuit camera from somewhere in the Northeast, they interviewed one of the fans who couldn't get in. And they said, "What are you going to do if you can't get in tonight?" And he said to the TV cameras, "We're going to take this building apart brick by brick." So Joe calls me on the phone and says, "Guess what, Russell? Guess what the guy said?" I said, "Thanks, Joe." Finally, they broke through the doors, and they poured through the turnstiles, and they got into the building, and the camera was about 10 minutes away from working, and Joe calls me on the phone and says, "Russell, why don't you go downstairs and check on the program sales?" So, anyway, Johan, I want to bring up Joe's son, to talk about their involvement with Amir Mansour and their hopes that also this will lead to a revitalization of boxing in Philadelphia. Joe?
Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Johan Boxing Gym. We're very, very excited, my dad and I, to be here today and to be beside Amir and to announce this fight. We're very grateful to Kathy Duba and Main Events and NBC Sports and also Russell for giving us this opportunity. Just to share a quick story, the gym, as you know, the Johan Gym's been around for, 15, 18 years or something like that now. But my dad's been involved in this business for the better part of 45 years, I guess, now. And if you know the story, his roots are that he started in Philadelphia here as part of the management team for Joe Frazier when Joe Frazier was starting out in his career. And so the gym became, for my dad over the years, a place where he has a lot of young people come in here, and he tries to give them an opportunity to turn their lives around. and to give him a place to come and pursue the sport of boxing. And during that time, he often he gets a chance to sit, and I think they look at my dad as a father figure, and they get a chance to start talking to him and asking him for advice, or maybe he's just a friendly face. And I think if you talk to Amir and my dad, that's what happened with these two guys. Amir was really kind of coming to my dad when Amir's career is really starting to take off. He started wandering in the office and he was asking my dad about this promoter and that promoter, and I think what they realized was they really got to get a friendship developed between the two of them. And I think what they decided was, hey, why are we going to go get somebody else outside of this gym and try to get take this thing to the heavyweight championship if we can. And they decided to start working together. And that's how my dad really became Amir's manager, just really through the friendship that they developed here at the gym. And so my dad, he recruited our attorney, Ryan Janis, as a helper to him and helping him guide him through this. And Russell's guidance, as my dad and as Russell noted, they have had a long friendship, and so the path started along the way. But I think the thing that I get the opportunity to do every day is I get the chance to go to work with my dad every day. And I can only tell you that what I see in him is that I see sort of a rejuvenation. I see an excitement in him when I hear him talk about Amir. I see him come in the next morning and say, hey, I talked to Amir last night. Here's what he told me, and this is what he did yesterday when he was training. And so you have a young athlete that has so much potential, energizing an older guy in this business. It's an amazing thing to see. And so I know what my dad is trying to do is trying to support Amir's effort to try to let him become the best that he can, try to give him the best opportunity that he can. Right now, they sat down, they said, this fight, this place, this night, this fighter is right now the best opportunity for Amir. They have a goal, the two of them. They want to get to the heavyweight championship. It's got to go through Philadelphia on April the 4th through Steve Cunningham. And all I know is that my dad and Amir have done everything they can to prepare to put the best Amir in that ring that night. He's got a great training camp, and Amir decided to go out of the area. I don't have to talk about the weather, we all know about it, but he's been in a really great training camp. He's had an awesome camp. He's trained really hard. He's feeling great. And we're really, really looking forward to taking advantage of this opportunity. I know Amir's excited about it. I know all his fans are excited about it, and all his friends. And we just want to say thank you very much, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there on April the 4th. Thank you.
Talk about perseverance. Both fighters took a hard road to get here. Steve Cunningham had his aggravation with Don King. He had his aggravation in Europe with Wilfred Sauerland. He got hosed out of his world title. He's still here on the brink of a big, big payday. Amir Mansour spent a lot of time in summer camp, came out, made a career for himself, and then got hit on some ticky-tack violation. And honestly, when that happened, I thought it was over. I mean, how many times can you come back from that? And here he is, back on the brink in a major fight that's a crossroads fight for both fighters in the strictest term of the word. Amir Mansour.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It's kind of ironic to be fighting Steve Cunningham. When they called me and told me I was fighting Steve, I was flabbergasted, really. When I first came home in 2010, the very first person that I sparred after 8.5 years was Steve, and he was preparing for his southpaw. And I met his wife. She was very kind. They called us back to spar some more with him. And I remember even at that time, I was so ecstatic after having sparred with a world champion and gauging where I was at after an 8.5-year layoff. And I remember talking to Keith Stouffer, the man who, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. And I was so happy that, you know, I performed well with a world champion after an 8.5-year layoff. I went in that bathroom right there, I was crying, literally. And now we're going to fight, you know, so I knew I was going to do this. It's just a great opportunity for me to take advantage of, capitalize on. You know, I respect this guy right here. I respect this trainer. They world champions. You know, he's still a world champion to me. Anybody that wins a world championship title, I don't believe in calling him former champs or nothing like that. He's still a world champion. I know what type of heart he has. I know what type of skills he has. I know what he brings to the table. I won this title with the flu, dehydrated down to 208 pounds, 12-round battle with a guy that was very crafty. And I really hurt myself winning this title. And so I'm prepared to hurt myself again before I lose this title. And gaining this title under the conditions that I know I was in, I'm just not going to let anyone take it from me. I really, really admire these guys, and I'm glad that, you know, we both have the opportunity to win, lose, or draw, bring boxing back to Philadelphia. I haven't been in shape like this probably since the Dominic Wynn fight, even after the August fight with Paris, after the 12-round fight. I didn't even give my body a chance to heal because Chaz had a fight coming up. So I started sparring with him, and his fight got canceled. By the time this fight got canceled, I had to train for my fight. So going into the fight with Price, I had a fractured wrist, 2 fractured hands, and, you know, that's just me though. They don't call me hardcore for nothing. Believe me, I earned that name, not in the ring or out the ring, just in life in general. And that's me to the core, from my toes to the little pieces of hair you might find with a magnifying glass up there. You know, but that's just me, and I'm just really, really grateful that I had people in my life like Keith Stokely. He never gave up. He never gave up on me, stuck by me. He stuck with me. Believe that. This is where we at right now. I'm not gonna let him down. I'm not gonna let these men down. That, you know, they picked me up and they came on our team, and they've been nothing but good men to us. You know, I'm not gonna let them down. I'm not gonna let myself down. I'm not gonna let my family down. I love this guy. I think he's a great guy. Like I said, I met his wife, his family. He has a beautiful family. But you know, April 4th, I gotta do what I gotta do. I never had a world championship opportunity. He has. I never had big fight opportunity. He has, you know. And this is my time. I'm not getting into the Philly versus Philly fighter. I'm a Jersey boy. I'm born and raised in South Jersey. I trained in Philly because I knew this is where the best boxing was at. So ever since I turned pro, this is where I came. I always been in Joe Hand's gym. He always kept the nicest gyms, and I refused to train in any other gym in the city. And so this is where I was at. But you know, April 4th, you know, I'm going to be the relentless fighter that I always have been. I'm not going to change too much. You know, I know mistakes that I've made in the last fights and fights prior to this. One thing about me is that I can adjust and change and be swift and changeable. But you know, a fighter that already been down the road and done did his best, performed at his top, you know, I don't see any changes that a person could make for a guy like me. So I know that I can make the adjustments that I need to make, and I'm going to make them. You're going to see things from me that you never even knew I could do. It's a whole bag of tricks that I got up my sleeve. I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to give in. And, you know, like I said, I'm prepared to die before I leave in this ring, man. Losing this ring, I'm prepared to die. That's just my mentality. And I really really feel that way. You know, before I lose, you know, take me out on a stretcher. You know, that's just how I feel. This is a hurt business. It is what it is. You know, I pray that at the end of the fight, everybody's all right. Nobody's seriously injured, but I do what I got to do. And this is my time to shine. So, you know, April 4th, y'all gonna see something from a horror movie or whatever you want to call it, you know. Like I said, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've never been in this type of shape, ever. You know, so it's going down. And, you know, like I said, I pray for everybody's health and safety, you know, this fight night. Other than that, you know, the best man is obvious. He's going to win. And I take that to the grave, man. You know, I'm prepared for war, and it is what it is. We're going to get it on. Thank y'all for coming. Joe Hands, I appreciate you guys for, you know, getting behind me. And like I said, you know, if it wasn't for this guy, Keith Stover, believing in me, never giving up on me, I wouldn't be here tonight. So everybody, you know, plays their part, and I've just been blessed to have the right people around me, you know. And like I said, even coming home and getting an opportunity to spar with this guy was a blessing as well. So thank y'all for coming, thank y'all for listening. And sorry for the little punk tears. You know, I'm a passionate guy, I'm a emotional guy. You know, I am human. You know what I mean? I am human. You know, that just means that I'm a human being. You know what I'm saying? You hear about the prison. I'm just a human being. That's all that is. Thank y'all.
The tall gentleman in front of the heavy bag with the sunglasses on his head played basketball for Western Kentucky. That's Keith Stover.
Keith.
And a 4-round fighter asked me the other night at the weigh-in for Adam in Glasgow if I still got nervous and excited before fights after 45 years. And I said, when I don't, then it's time to get out. I'm really pumped for this fight. I'm looking forward to this fight. This is a solid, good, solid heavyweight fight. We've had a few of them on NBC, and this is going to be another one. So I want to thank everybody. We're expecting a good crowd. The tickets are certainly reasonable, 41, 58, 86, and 113. The Leah Course Center is a beautiful venue, plenty of transportation, plenty of parking. Hope to see everybody there April 4th. Thank you.
We're going to do photos, and then the fighters will sit down and talk to any media that wants to ask questions, right? So stay calm. Lex, let them know when they can get in front of you.
Man, they're good.
Okay.
Oh, Daryl.
Yeah, you're fine.
I was telling you for everybody, not me.
Yes.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all ain't gonna hold that up.
Sorry. That's all right. Well, you know what? Hopefully nobody else realizes it. Sorry. I'll have to remember that for when we do the next one, but from now on.